we really doing this again? Fine. Where the hell were you last week? Anyway, here's what you missed.
Today we're joined with friend of the show, Wes Williams.
Hey.
Would you rather have one Pokemon of your choice, but you have to keep it a secret from the government, or they'll take it from you, or a talking dog? Who would you rather be best friends with? Ghostface Killer, Lightning McQueen, or Kid Rock?
You can't take backflips to the strip club, but you could take $250.
One punch from Mike Tyson, her head would explode like a water.
But that's right, we're gonna be breaking the Capri Sun world record today.
Can you add that? Because I'll take care too. I will take care too.
Could I reverse engineer I kissed a girl and I liked it? Because I'm 35 and I think I'm like 10 years away from not even liking tits anymore.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to Barcast Comedy, where semi-pro comedians Zach and OldSchoolCurt answer the craziest questions on the internet at random dive bars across America. Today we are joined with returning guest, everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Jay Shuffleboson.
Yay! Thank
Thanks
you guys
for coming
so much
on.
for having me again. It is truly an honor.
You got some of the craziest stories, so we had to have you back.
Definitely.
I wanted to chime in real quick before we get started. I was watching one of your most recent podcasts, and you guys were talking about pelicans, what fucking assholes they are, gobbling up ducks and shit.
Oh yeah, pelicans are nightmare fuel.
They're assholes. My brother got in a fight with one. He hit it with a sword, and an hour and a half later, it showed up with a couple of his buddies. Let me tell you this story real quick. I'm not going to give you the fucking Anne Frank version or anything, but
No, tell us the full version. We want to hear this. Pelicans and swords.
this was back when I was jousting and shit, and I was living on a 25-foot Coronado sailboat in Marina del Rey. And my brother Steve, he lived a few docks over on a 34-foot Catalina. Well, we both got eviction notices on the same day. And like the marina's like, you guys had till the end of the month to get the fuck out of here. And we're like, why? We've been paying our slip fees this whole time. You know, what's the deal? Now, at that time, Marina del Rey was the largest small boat harbor in the country. That's changed now. Basically, they told us that they're gutting all of the docks on, where we were at on Bora Bora, and they're putting in larger ones to accommodate these big bougie yachts and all this shit.
I do say, sir. I do say.
I do say, sir. Unless you have a 50-foot yacht, we're not going to be able to accommodate you. So they were gutting all the small slips, and we had to fucking go. And they said, you guys can leave before the end of the month. And we're like, no, fuck you. We're staying till the very last freaking day. So we did that shit.
I know my rights.
And so we were going to set sail to Ventura, California, which is like 2 days north. And the day that we left, we went out into a storm, gale force winds, all kinds of fucked up weather and shit. We should have left earlier, but we were being stubborn. Anyways, we anchored in Paradise Cove in Malibu, and it was anything but paradise that night. We got hit by a rogue wave around 3 a.m, flipped my boat over. I got thrown out of my bed. My face hit the window, the porthole. I saw bubbles. Then the keel flipped the boat back up. I snapped the line. Everything was fine. Long story short. But the next day, we I got to tell you this one real quick. The next morning, I'm up at like 7. I barely slept. I had to take a shit. And because my boat's only 25 feet, it doesn't have a head on it. So I just pulled down my pants and just leaned over the side, dropped the deuce. And with the current and the breeze, it just happened to like float Mr. Hanky over to Steve's boat. And he's still asleep. And it just started like smearing itself all over the side of his hull. It looked like anyways, so eventually his ass gets up, and there was no wind. It was just like a little bit of a rain. So we were just motoring, and he hit me up on the radio. He said, I'm going to hop in the shower. I got the autopilot set. If something happens, just let me know. I got the radio on. I'm like, okay. So I'm just sitting there at the tiller of my boat, and like 20 minutes goes by, and this big fucking Pelican shows up, lands on his boat. And it's just kind of cruising around, checking out his boat. Yeah. And I get on the radio, and I'm like, Steve, are you there? He's like, yeah, what do you want? I just got out of the shower. I said, you've been boarded. He's all, stop fucking around. He thought that I was on his boat or some shit or something. And he thought I was goofing around. I'm like, no, Steve, you don't understand, dude. Like, you've been boarded by a Pelican. He's like, where is it? I said, it's over the entryway there, the hatch and everything. And he said, okay. and it was right there. And he slid open the hatch and he lifted his head up, and they were like eye to eye, and they both jumped. He slid the hatch back, and he got on the radio. He's like, "Where's that fucker at now?" I'm like, "Dude, it's still there."
He's waiting.
So this is where shit gets funny. He went all the way to the front of the boat, and he opened up that hatch where the V-berth is. And you know, they have these cushions. They're like a square, like 16 inch by 16 inch. They're cushions, but they have these little straps on them. They're also flotation devices. If somebody falls overboard, you just toss it to them. He put one of those on around his arms like that. He's using it as a shield, and he's got his fucking sword from jousting.
He's going to war, baby.
He's got his towel on. He didn't even get dressed. His hair's still wet. He climbs out the front. This fucking Pelican sees him and starts doing this shit, like wobbling towards him. And Steve, like, he's presenting this cushion to him, and he slaps the fucking Pelican with his sword. The thing like made a noise, and it tried to fly off, and it got tangled up in the cables and shit, the stanchions, and it fell in the water. And Steve's like, "Yeah, fuck you!" And then the fucking Pelican flew off. I thought that was it. About an hour and a half later, 3 more Pelicans show up with the same one that Steve hit.
Oh.
Undercover. He had to hide down below. He stayed down there for like 15 minutes, and I'm like, "Steve, they're not going away." He fucking jumped out from the front again, and he had a package of hot dogs. And he's just blasting these Pelicans with hot dogs until they left. Pelicans are dicks, dude. Pelicans are assholes.
They're just coming back with their friends, be like, "Oh yeah, you want to go?"
Damn, the Pelicans.
Fucking flew off to somewhere and got his buddies and said, "Hey, let's go fuck this guy up." He hit me with a sword.
Jurassic Park. The dinosaurs turned into birds. Those raptors turned into pelicans. Yeah. They attack in groups.
Yeah, and you guys were talking about like giant animals. Like a giant pelican would be scary.
Yeah, fuck that.
Imagine like a 250-foot fucking rooster in Manhattan, just like pecking at people like on the streets and shit, and how they scratch at the dirt, flipping up cabs and fucking asphalt and shit. That'd be terrifying.
Yeah, was that other thing? Like maybe an anteater too was the other one I forgot. That'd be scary because like they're already going after like tiny objects, so we'd be the size of an ant, you know. So they would just be fucking us up for no reason.
I gotta say, a possum would be scary as hell. Large.
That would be fucking scary. Yeah, or like a kangaroo with like an alligator head on it. Whoa. Imagine that shit. Imagine that shit.
Oh my god.
I got a funny possum story. It happened to my friend. It wasn't me, but it happened to him. When I worked at the refineries in Texas City, there were all kinds of animals around there. Possums, raccoons. And we had a storage shed that we would go sit in to get out of the heat. This guy I know, we'll call him Jay. He went and he sat down in there and he backed up. And he said that when he backed up, there was a possum right above him, and the possum went. So he comes running out, and he's like, ah! He's like, there's a possum in there, there's a possum in there! And then I go, dude, you are being so scary. Then I walk in there, and I go, I don't see. And then it pops out and goes, and I go, oh my God, he's not lying! There's a possum in there, there's a possum in there! The scariest. Those are scary.
Yeah, they are. They actually have the most teeth of all mammals.
But they don't attack you unless you start it. They will leave you alone. Now, raccoon will chase you.
And you see these videos on YouTube of people like rescuing possums when they're little, and they end up being like decent pets.
No, thank you.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that shit.
There's a guy on YouTube, I think he's called the Raccoon Whisperer.
Oh yeah.
That dude is awesome.
Crazy.
That dude is awesome. He sits on his porch outside, and he'll sit there, and I'm telling you, 25 raccoons will go up to him, and he'll just hand them hot dogs. They'll sit on his lap, and he feeds a bunch. Raccoon Whisperer, check him out, YouTube.
Yeah, that's got to get expensive feeding those guys.
Well, he's a retired cop. I think he has good money.
Like, what happens the day he stops feeding them, though? Like, those raccoons, they're going to be going to the next house, and they're going to fuck that person up.
Yeah,
for
that's
some
true.
hot dogs. They'll be like the Pelicans.
He's like, sorry guys, my paycheck didn't, my direct deposit didn't go through. I don't have any food for you. And then they kind of like start creeping towards you and shit. It's like start of some horror movie.
All right, Jay, you're on top of a volcano that's exploding. There's a helicopter in a wingsuit, like one of those suits, you know, to fly. Which one are you taking to get out of there? The helicopter or the wingsuit?
I'm too fat for a fucking wingsuit. I'll try my luck with the helicopter.
With the helicopter, yeah. What about you, Kurt?
I'm going with the wingsuit because then you control everything. Because let's say while the helicopter's landing or something, a piece of the ash or something hits the helicopter, makes it crash. With the wingsuit, you can run and just glide and get the hell away, and you control.
Yeah, I'm thinking I would take helicopter too, though. Like, wingsuit, like, I feel like I'm not going to know how to do it, so I'm just going to die tumbling down a mountain. At least helicopter, I would rather die. Like, that'll be a quick death.
The reason I don't...
Plus, maybe, like, you could search a YouTube video to get the helicopter off the ground. I mean, you're on top of a volcano.
Oh,
you might have good service.
I thought you meant there was somebody picking you up. I didn't know that we had a choice.
You gotta fly the helicopter.
Okay, I'm doing the wingsuit. The reason I don't like helicopters, and Jay will know this, in the movie Jaws 2, remember when that helicopter was leaving and the shark took that damn thing under? No helicopter.
That was fucking scary. I mean, if you mean there's nobody in the helicopter to fly me out?
Yeah. See,
yeah, no, you gotta fly the helicopter.
Wingsuit.
I'm gonna put on that fucking wingsuit, jump into the volcano, and see if the thermals are enough to get my fat ass some elevation where I could get out.
Maybe that'll work for you.
Yeah, fucking why not?
Yeah, I feel like helicopter still is the way to go.
I just got the Jaws 2 fear.
Ideally, I think I would just run down the mountain if that was an option.
Jay knows what I'm talking about. That is a terrifying scene. My God.
Yeah, pull that fucker right into the water.
Pulled it right into the water. And then you don't know what happened to him after that. He just gone.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Jaws 2, you said you mentioned you were living on a boat. What was the name of your boat?
Well, when I bought the boat, it didn't have a name on it. It was it was sitting in that slip for like a really long time, and whoever owned it didn't know. What was the story about that? This old lady owned it. It was her husband's sailboat, and he'd take it out every now and then, and he passed away, and she didn't know anything about it. So she put it up for sale, and I paid like $1,600 for it. It needed some work.
That ain't bad.
It just needed, some fresh paint and some new rigging and stuff like that. Not a whole lot of shit, but it didn't have a name on the back of it. And I'm going through the paperwork on it, and I can't find anything about this boat. I was trying to come up with something kind of catchy for the boat. And I was talking to my mom about it, and I was telling her this whole thing, and she said, there ain't nothing on the paperwork on that. And I'm like, no, Mom, there's not. And I don't know what to name this thing. I mean, it wasn't like a requirement with the DMV or anything like that, but it just would have been nice to have something on the back, And she said, Jay, you've been dreaming for years about living on a sailboat. And I'm like, yeah, I know. She said, why don't you call it My Wet Dream?
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And I said, well, I think we got a winner. So that's what I named it. And that's what I painted on the back of it.
That's even better coming from your mom.
Your mom.
She didn't make that connection though.
Oh.
That's even better.
Because I always wanted to be like a pirate and shit and fucking live on a sailboat. I would even go to the liquor store and I'd buy like bottles of rum, like Kraken and Sailor Jerry and shit. And I would take my boat out and I'd anchor it just outside by the break wall. And I'd get in my dinghy and I'd row to shore and I'd find a place to bury a bottle and I'd make a treasure map and shit.
That's fucking cool.
And I'd sell the treasure map for like $10 and see if somebody would find the fucking bottle of rum and shit out there.
Where are you selling these treasure maps to
I'll
booze?
buy one.
Are you just like on Craigslist, like treasure map?
Somebody replied that said, it's illegal to sell alcohol online. I said, I'm not selling alcohol. I'm selling a piece of paper. There may or may not be alcohol on the X of that map. I don't fucking know. You accept that risk.
How did that end?
I never got in trouble, but I sold 3 maps.
Hey, if you sell me a map, I'll put it on my wall.
Where did you hide it too? I want to know more about this real quick.
We gotta know about
Where
this
were you
map
hiding
situation.
this? Like just on the beach?
There'd be like landmarks, like certain like dunes and stuff that would have like some grass growing out of it, or like this shit like that, like. Or where the lifeguard stations were, it'd be like 100 paces north of the lifeguard station, and then like 50 paces to the right. Then I'd dig a hole and bury it.
Okay.
Like shit like that. I'd make it kind of easy, but it was just fun,
That's awesome. That's totally something I would do. All right, Jay, you're given an elephant and you can't sell it.
I'm doing what with the elephant?
You're just given an elephant for free. Like, it shows up to your house. You can't sell the elephant. What are you doing with it?
I'd probably make it like a big giant killdozer and like just go on a rampage.
Just get drunk and go on a rampage with the elephant downtown.
You didn't give me my fucking permits, you assholes, and just like.
Who's gonna mess with the guy sitting on an elephant? Nobody. Dude. The most manly thing is sitting on an elephant while drinking a 40. That's some manly shit right there.
Maybe I could do like elephant rides at the county fair and shit like that.
Oh, that is true. But they don't allow you to have a 40 though. So
yeah, just like take them to festivals, places. Just be a celebrity.
Kids' birthday parties.
Just start doing TikTok dances with him. Dude, he'd go viral.
Here's Jay, the elephant guy. The real elephant man.
All right, Jay, you're in the Hunger Games. What weapon are you picking? Like, what's your go-to weapon? Anything you want isn't would you rather?
Whoa! Okay. Chainsaw.
He's just going right at you.
All right.
You were prepared, too.
He knew that question was coming, dude.
Actually, I was at it's still winter out here, and I had to drop a couple limbs and shit. So yeah, I'd use my chainsaw.
Yeah, I think something like with like maybe a small shield and like a sword for me would be mine, like gladiator style, would be my best bet.
If we're playing fantasy, I'm taking a lightsaber. The Darth Maul double-bladed lightsaber. Whoa.
That is allowed.
Well, I'm taking the Darth Maul lightsaber.
Kurt's gonna win the Hunger Games with a lightsaber. Actually, you picked the double one. That's a little dangerous. You're gonna kill yourself on accident. With the 2 buttons. All right, Jay. Would you rather, for the rest of your life, all your drinks are always too warm? So, like, if it's a hot drink, then it's too hot. But if it's a cold drink, then it's just warm. Or you have 1-ply toilet paper for the rest of your life.
The drink thing. Yeah. Did you hear about Sheryl Crow? What she fucking does to the people on her crew when she's on tour?
No.
You get 2 squares of toilet paper to wipe your ass every day.
Oh.
She's limiting the toilet paper?
That shit.
God, with the shit that I eat, there's no way that'll work.
No.
She's like, you did good today. You get a 3rd piece.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Who's monitoring? Is it her? Just sitting there checking everybody? Or maybe she gives it out in the morning as rations, like with your breakfast. Here's your pieces for the day. Here's your pieces.
Every drive-through I go through, I'd ask for extra napkins everywhere I'd go.
Smart.
Yeah, no, I would take the 1-ply toilet paper one, honestly. I mean, I would just use a fuck ton of toilet paper rather than having to deal with warm drinks. It's an inconvenience, but like, I'll just spend a little more. I'll just use like a half a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah, I don't trust toilet paper if I can see through it, even a little bit.
If you choose that, Zach, you are no longer allowed to eat Taco Bell.
Yeah, I think since last time we had you on, I saw you crapped your pants again in Costco.
Okay, so the Costco incident, there was a stomach flu bug that was going around, and I apparently got it, and I didn't know about it. And I had some friends that came in from out of town, and we were in Carson City at this Chinese buffet. The food wasn't that great, but I don't think that really got me sick, but for some reason, my stomach got really upset really quick. And I got out of there, and I started to hit the road. I'm thinking, oh, fuck, I got the bubble guts. I need to do something about this. And I was thinking I could probably make it up the mountain and get home. But I realized in under a minute that wasn't possible. So I got a Costco membership, mainly for the gas and shit. But Costco was right there. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to duck into Costco, grab a few things, then head up the mountain. As soon as I got out of the car, it started coming out. It's 8:30 at night on a Tuesday. And it
so they're still probably open. They're closing up at 8:30, right? Or do they close by that time?
They close at 9. And but they were they were getting close. And there wasn't, thank God, it wasn't like at like 2:00 on a Sunday.
Yeah, that's a packed parking lot then. That's a full show.
Yeah, so I'm in my wife's car, and I get out of the car, and I make it around the back of the car, and it just starts coming out. I'm like, Jesus, Palomino. And there's a lady loading up her car, right across from me. And I just dropped my pants, and I just rooster tail in the parking lot. And this unicorn shirt my wife got me for Christmas, I took that off, and I had to wipe my ass with that. And I threw it in the floorboard, and I got back in the car. And I was very embarrassed and just feeling like shit. And I'm like, why does this happen to me? And it doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, it's never at a convenient location or time. It's one thing if I had the bubble guts here at the house, I could just,
Yeah.
in the shower, get cleaned up, and go about my day. But that wasn't the case. The last time this happened to me was when I was working for Disney Interactive, and I was stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic right in the middle of the highway, and I had to hop out of my truck and do the same thing, but people were blasting. It's just like 8 o'clock in the morning, and traffic's not moving. The horns are honking everywhere. They're seeing me do this shit.
I just can't believe that video never went viral.
Yeah, I don't know how you didn't get caught.
I know. And I told that story on YouTube, and I got in the car, and I'm like, this is fucking embarrassing. And it made me think of that story. And I wasn't going to document it at all because just of how embarrassed I was. But I was thinking, if I don't fucking tell this story, nobody's going to believe it.
Yeah.
So I just pulled out the phone and just started recording.
It's better to get ahead of the story. You control the narrative.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. I was shirtless driving home. I made that video, and I'm like, this just fucking happened to me. I'm heading home. And then the next video was me calling my friend him and his family that I had the buffet with. I recorded that conversation. I'm like, are you guys sick at all? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, well, here's what happened to me. Then the third video was me calling Costco and talking to the manager because I went out and got a gift card. Because the third video, I actually showed up the next day to clean up my mess. Yeah. Somebody got to it before I did. That's what happened. I couldn't find it. And I'm like, somebody cleaned it up. And I got there before they opened, too, the next day.
Somebody had to clean that up late at night.
when they closed. But the lady that saw me, she gasped in horror. And she must have went in there and told them or something. So anyway, the following video was me calling and talking to the manager at Costco because I went out and got a gift card for whoever cleaned up my shit.
Yeah.
And 3% of it went to the Wounded Warriors Project and stuff. And I talked to him and he said, you don't have to do that. I'm like, well, I insist. People don't get paid enough to clean up bathrooms, especially, a big poop slick out in the middle of your parking lot. And I actually went out there. I met the guy. He was really nice. He said, hey, shit happens. And I'm like, well, yeah, mostly to me, but and I gave him the card and stuff, and he said, I narrowed down who it was.
Good Lord, dude.
I said, well, tell them I'm very sorry they had to clean that up and all that stuff. So I owned up to it and all that stuff. And the way I kind of look at my YouTube channel at this point is my embarrassment is your entertainment.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me when that first Hulk movie came out, the horrible one from 2003, the Ang Lee one. And that movie was extremely long, and I didn't have to poop, but I had to pee when the movie started, and I was like, I'll hold it. 3 hours later, when the movie ends, I go running out of there, I go to the bathroom, and I pee, and I'm not bullshitting. I peed for 5 straight minutes, and I'm leaning on the wall, and I'm going, ah! And then I finished, and I'm like, oh. And I said, my friend, when I got out, my friend, this chick I was dating at the time, was like, are you okay? And I was like, fuck Ang Lee's Hulk. Never watching that shit again. I blame that movie for the piss.
Oh, here, I have another good piss one, too, actually. We got another piss story.
Right,
Kurt was here for this one. So we were at this bar for an event, all-you-can-drink beer thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I go into the bathroom to take a piss. There's five urinals. So the first guy goes in, he goes to the far left, Next guy goes in, he goes to the far right. Typical guy protocol. So I go in down the middle. So there's 2 open ones in between us. And then the next guy comes in behind me. And instead of going to one of those, he just stands in line directly behind me. And I was like, there's 2 open stalls. This is just weird. Why is he standing behind me?
That's why I don't...
Is that not weird?
Well, hang on. Let me ask you this. Do they have like the little panels in between the urinals or?
They were tiny, but they
Very
barely.
tiny.
They did. It was a very small one.
You know what I hate is like if you go to like a sporting event and you go to take a leak and they have the trough.
Oh, those are the worst.
Over the shoulder, taking a leak.
I don't like pulling out my wang in front of everybody because I don't want them to be embarrassed because mine's so big, and I don't want to pee around other people. It's weird.
Yeah, a little bit of privacy.
Yeah, but I was just like, why right behind me? Why would he not just stand in the line like in the middle area more?
Yeah, it makes it very creepy.
You know what you should have done? You should have pinched it and then stepped over to the next one.
Oh, you're right. Just stepped over and been like, here you go. Don't worry, I kept it running for you.
I got a question for you, Jay. Have you ever accidentally gone to the woman's bathroom?
Yes. Not accidentally, on purpose.
Oh, shit. Tell me.
There were times where it's like, fuck, I gotta go. Most of the times, like, I'm holding back a piss. I gotta take a leak. I'm like, and I always go to at the last second. It's at a restaurant or whatever, and I'll go, and the men's room is locked. Yeah. And I kind of look around, and I check the handle for the women's. If it's unlocked, I kind of do the little courtesy knock. I don't hear anything. I go in there, lock it, take a leak. I've been caught on the way out. They're like, hey, mister, this is the women's room. I'm like, oh, it is? Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I just blow it off like that.
I'll tell you my story. My story was, it was a mistake. Wasn't my fault. When I was in high school, there was a girl that I went to high school with. We'll call her D. She was a really beautiful woman, real ghetto, always got in fights, and she always got her butt kicked every time she fought. So one day she started carrying mace around, right? And so I'm walking down the hallway, and I see her in a fight, and I'm like, oh, she's in a fight. Next thing I know, mace is getting sprayed around, hits me right in the eyes, and I go, oh! So I go running thinking I'm going into the men's restroom, and I go into a bathroom, and I start throwing water on my eyes, and I'm like, oh, and then I go, and these girls look at me, and they go, ah! And I go, ah! And I just go running out. It was horrifying. Oh, it was horrifying, but it was hilarious later. Even the girls who saw me were laughing. I was like, thank God. I didn't do that on purpose, y'all. My eyes were bloodshot.
All right, Jay, would you rather be stranded on an island for 5 years by yourself, but it's easy to survive? Or for 2.5 years with 10 people, but it's hardcore survival?
Oh, fuck, 5 years by myself. A lot of people need to be like social and around other people and shit. I'm okay, but I like my personal time.
Yeah, me too. I'm kind of a loner.
Yeah, that's like a vacation too, if it's easy. Yeah, it's just a vacation at that point. Easy survival.
Oh, fuck yeah. 5-year vacation on an island and shit.
But if they were 10 supermodels...
Ooh, that's a different question.
If it's 10 supermodels, no matter how life hard gets, I'm going to stay hard. So I would do it then.
Till you forget about food.
Forget about food. I'm getting cooch.
And they come over twirling their hair. Can you make a campfire for us again?
Hell yeah, I can.
Do that trick with...
Wow, these fish are just so hard to catch. And they kind of adjust themselves a little bit.
Just call me Aquaman, baby. Boom. Come out with 2 fish and a fish in my mouth.
All right, Jay, if there was a scratch and sniff map of the United States, what would your state smell like?
Pot.
Oh, there we go. That's what Colorado would smell like.
I live in Nevada, so it's either going to be pot or pussy, which both are legal out here.
That makes sense. Yeah, ours is pot, too. We're in Colorado.
Shit, I need to
So
move.
it's always hard trying to find a guest to do that question with. I'm like, everybody's going to be pot.
Well, since I'm from Texas, it would smell like barbecue.
Oh, yeah. Are brothels legal in Colorado or no?
The brothels that me and Zach go to are underground, and we just kind of keep it to ourselves.
They're hipster. They're speakeasy brothels.
I go to the cougar brothels.
Do you have any good hometown scandals, Jay? Like from your town or high school? What's a story everybody always brings up?
I mean, I moved around so freaking much and shit, but I remember this little tiny speck on the map of Missouri that I was born and stayed there until I was like 8 or 9. There's a pretty crazy story. I went back a while back. Did I tell you guys the story about that catfish?
No.
All right, so this town in Missouri where I grew up in, it's right up against the Mississippi River. And if there was a flood up north, it would just like push like old cars and shit that got like caught in the flood down the river, and eventually they'd end up like over where this place was. And there's this one guy in town that he had a scuba rig set up, and he would go out in the Mississippi River and he would like go inside cars and loot shit. And sometimes he'd find stuff, sometimes he wouldn't. Well, my grandpa had this old service station, and all the old timers would just sit out there on the bench all day and just talk and tell stories and shit. Anyway, so I was out there, and that guy rolled in with his truck, and he was white as a sheet. He just got out of the river. And he said, if anybody wants to buy my scuba stuff, let me know. I'll sell it to you for half price of what I got it for. And he's had it for a while. And everybody's like, well, why are you selling your stuff? There's a bunch of cars that just washed in or whatever from that storm a couple weeks ago.
Oh, so he just scubas down and gets all the stuff.
Smart.
Well, he decided to sell his shit because he said that he was in a car going through it, and a huge catfish was trying to get him.
Oh.
And he stayed in that car, and it kept trying to get to him. He said he was at a point where he was like redlining, like on oxygen. He was about to like lose air, and the catfish at that point swam off, and he got out of there. And he said, "I'm not getting in that river again." He said that thing was about like 7 feet long. He says the biggest thing.
Oh my God, that's a nightmare right there. Being stuck in a car chased by a catfish.
And apparently, like, there's no growth limit to catfish. They just keep getting bigger and bigger. Yeah. So, I mean, as far as scandals and shit, I mean, I guess that's it.
That's a good one, though. That's a good, wholesome one.
Yeah, no, it's better. A lot of times we ask that question, it always goes to teachers hooking up with students.
All the time.
So,
not when I was a kid.
Yeah, same with me. And the teachers that I had as a kid, with the exception of 2, I didn't want to hit that shit.
Oh, yeah. Same with me.
All my teachers look like the freaking Wizard of Oz witch.
Yeah, like my PE teacher looked like Nicole Bass, but with like a buzz cut. Like, nah, I think I'll pass.
I'm good. So another big one. Everybody had a lot of questions on your 1,000 Ways to Die. You being on the show last time, love that. So what is another way you died on the show, other than from a mailbox?
Okay, so the mailbox took off my head on one of them. Another one, I was the owner of a theater, and I insisted on being the lead in the play or whatever, but I was too heavy for the harness. It's like a Peter Pan thing. And I'm supposed to be flying through the air, swinging a sword, and a cable snapped, and it got me in the jugular, and I'm hanging upside down, and I bleed out. That was a fun one. There was another one where I had this mullet, and not like the one I got now. And I'm with my friends, and the actual truck I owned was in this episode. And I was like this asshole guy that was always like ribbing my friends and shit. And we went to some place like some place outdoors that was over by like a reservoir or something like that. And I was kind of giving my friends shit, and they said like "fuck you" and all that stuff. And when they were mad at me and my character, I shoved a potato in the tailpipe. And they went to drive off, and the thing shot out and got me in the eye and killed me. I died that way.
God dang.
More. There's a couple more, but it's been so freaking long. But the one that I wanted to do the most was the coordinator called me. He said, I may have another one for you. I said, okay. He said, but there's an issue. And I'm like, well, what's the issue? He said, you've been on it. You've died more than anybody else on the show. And people were emailing the Spike TV saying, hey, we saw that guy die last week. So I'm being recognized at this point. And he said, I'll try and get you in. And I said, okay, well, what's the episode? Oh, let me go back. Another one was a backyard wrestling one. Okay. Look at that one. The backyard wrestling episode, 1,000 Ways to Die. I forget what it's called. And at this point, I was a pro wrestler, and the coordinator asked me, he said, do you know who we could get a ring rental from? I said, yeah, from my trainer, Jesse Hernandez at Empire Wrestling Federation. So I called Jesse, and he got a payday out of it. And they said, well, is there another wrestler that you'd like to bring on the show that you could work with? I said, yeah. So I called Tyler, and we showed up with our gear. And we're like, no, you're not wearing your stuff. You're wearing our shit. I'm wearing this fucking, like, bunny outfit. I got the fucking ears. I got the bunny ears and the mittens.
Oh, you got the Playboy bunny.
And this fucking banana hammock covered in rabbit fur. And and they made him look like a gay Zorro guy.
What do we have here? 2 dudes on their way to a gay pride parade?
It was just so fucking embarrassing. And Jesse is pulling out his phone, taking pictures. I'm like, don't do it, dude, please. It was bad. And what made it really fucking bad wasn't just the shit that we were wearing and the things that we had to do.
How did they make you die? Or did they just dress you up in a bunny suit? That was it. And then you just died.
We did the weed whacker thing, staples and shit, and the light tubes. And it was just stupid. It was dumb. But what made it bad was it was in the middle of the summer in SoCal. I had like 6 hours worth of tattooing done on my back the night before. And I'm taking bumps on this like searing canvas with it was fucking bad. Look that up. 1,000 Ways to Die backyard wrestling episode. It's a dirt bomb and something else. I forget, but it was pretty funny, but it was really embarrassing. And my friend Tyler, he said, I didn't know I'd be doing this shit. I said, well, I didn't fucking know either, dude, but we walked away with $1,000 each. So whatever.
Not bad.
Anyways, getting back to the one that I was turned down for, that pretty much ended my 1,000 Ways to Die career. It was an episode where there's a guy in one of those fold up lounge chairs at a poolside, and they wanted the guy to be in one of those, and some girl in the bikini walks by, and the guy goes to get up to talk to her, and it collapses on him, and it grabs him by the nuts, by his ball bag, and he starts flailing around, and he falls into the pool, and the chair pulls him down by his nuts, and he drowns. And I said, Tony, I will do this one for free. Just please tell him I'll do it for free. This is the funniest fucking one ever.
Oh my God. That's great.
And I got a call the next day. He said, I'm sorry, dude, I tried, but they're going to go with somebody else. And that showed the reason why 1,000 Ways to Die ended was it was a non-union, it was a non-SAG show. And somebody showed up on that lot talking to somebody that tried to convince him to flip it. And the producers are like, and everybody went on strike or whatever. And SAG contacted the people that owned some of the properties of the locations and said, we're going to have protesters out there because we want this to be a SAG after thing. And the people working on this show needs to get their benefits and dailies and all that stuff. But everybody was getting paid pretty good at that point. And I wasn't SAG at that point to begin with, so I didn't care. I was one of those guys. I was like grabbing all kinds of non-union work because I wasn't union, and so
you'll take them all.
Like, oh, fuck it, we'll just close the show down. And so they stopped production on 1,000 Ways to Die, and then they started. What was that name of that show? Stories of the ER or something. Oh
yeah, the ER. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the Untold ER stories or something.
Yeah, something like that. So, anyways, that pretty much ended 1,000 Ways to Die, regrettably. I had so much fun working on that.
Yeah, that's an awesome show. I wish I'd bring that back. I used to watch that, and the other show I used to watch was It Takes a Thief when I was little.
Yeah,
did you ever watch that show?
Guys that did that one too.
Yeah, I want to bring that show back, but here's my idea. Celebrity, It Takes a Thief. So basically, it's the host of It Takes a Thief, and he's breaking into your house with like Danny DeVito or Kevin Hart, and they're robbing you. Same show, every aspect, and they set you up with a new security system. But he just takes a new celebrity along on a break-in into somebody's house.
You better set that up, like just to make sure, like you don't get buckshot or nothing. Then
they're breaking in. You're like, what the hell, Kevin Hart?
God, that's a funny concept, though. I like that.
Don't film it in Texas because they will all get shot.
Yeah. All right. If you had to have a celebrity play you in a movie, what celebrity would it be?
I would want somebody to play me that's the exact opposite of me to see if they can pull it off.
That's what I was thinking too. For me, somebody, it would just be awkward.
But I want somebody like good looking and fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And skinny, like Jason Statham or some shit.
Jason Statham. He's playing you. He's got his balls strapped to a lawn chair, drowning in a pool.
For some reason, he's in a bunny suit for some reason.
Yeah, he's in a bunny suit.
For me, it would be Jonah Hill. I could see Jonah Hill playing me.
Jonah Hill, I could see that.
I kind of see that, though. I mean...
He could play Old School Kurt.
He could
fat one.
Yeah, he could play... When I was fat, when I first started, he could play when I first started and I was fat.
Is Jonah Hill still kind of heavy or no?
He gets fat, then he gets skinny, then he gets fat, then he gets skinny. He fluctuates. Like Oprah.
Yeah.
Who would you have, Zach?
I don't know. I mean, I was kind of thinking maybe like James Franco.
Oh, yeah, y'all kind of look alike.
I could see that. Or maybe
I could see that.
Or Adam Sandler, maybe an older version of me. A lot of people say I give off Adam Sandler vibes because I always wear sandals and sweatpants everywhere.
James Franco's brother you look like. You look like James Franco's little brother.
A knockoff.
Dude, you know what? You ought to fucking, not for nothing, but when you guys do the podcast at bars and shit, have somebody that go up to a girl and say, "Do you know who that guy is? That's James Franco's brother, and he does a podcast."
That's him right there. Oh my god. I've been wanting to find a celebrity impersonator, somebody who could maybe a B-list celebrity, and have on and just pretend that it's that celebrity. Like pretend that we had on, I don't know, Denzel Washington. But me and Kurt are just completely oblivious that it's not Denzel Washington the whole time.
That would be nice.
And we just completely just bullshit the episode. Yeah, dude, we had Denzel on it. People are like, no, that's not him. We're like, yeah, it
You
is.
could probably do something like that with this AI chat shit.
Oh yeah, the way it is.
Deep fake.
That deep fake audio stuff, they did this ESPN where it was where they did a play-by-play of the bombing of Hiroshima.
Welcome to Fox's coverage of an American bombing run on Hiroshima. I'm Joe Buck, and with me as always is Troy Aikman. It's a crisp August morning in southern Japan, and what goes better in the morning than Dunkin' Donuts? Japan's air defenses have been laughable in the last few months, Troy. Do you see them putting up any kind of a fight?
Dude, that freaked me out.
That is crazy.
That stuff is somebody could do that to you, and it could end up being in a court case. And how are you going to prove that to be wrong? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. There's no difference. It's crazy how it is. They're gonna take your job with the Alex Jones voice impersonating.
I love Alex Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been divorced. I've lost my feelings. I fired David Knight Christmas Eve because he's stealing my boner pills. So I'm going to open up my own theme park. Okay, it's going to have a gay frog themed water park. It's going to have a Sandy Hook escape room where nobody gets hurt because nobody ever did. And I'm going to call it 6 False Flags.
They're turning the frogs gay.
I want to call into Alex Jones's show as him.
That would be great. That would be a mind blown.
Do you know who? I think his name is Pharrell. Pharrell on the Bench. He has a sports show.
Yeah.
He always sounds like this. Hey, this is Pharrell on the Bench. Would you call in right now? We can talk about the NFL.
It's Pharrell on the bench. Yeah, go ahead and call in right now. Here's the number 1-800 blah 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 blah. Let's go.
He's like 1-800 call in now. We'll talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm like, how do you do that?
So I saw you did another shit miss live stream or shit Saturday. I forgot what it was called.
Saturday.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Were there any good stories? Or were there any ones that stuck out pretty bad?
Oh fuck! It's been a few weeks, but it was actually good. There's some good ones, and that's the kind of thing too that people email me anonymously, please don't say my name, but tell my story.
The story needs to go out there.
So it's kind of refreshing in a way to know that I'm not the only one that has bowel issues.
Yeah.
You're the only one just getting out in front of the story on YouTube.
Trust me, I've had those nights where I ate Taco Bell and then I went to bed and then I woke up at 3 a.m. and my belly was like, wrong neighborhood, cuz, and I ran to the bathroom and shit my guts out.
You know what's crazy is that the majority of the stories I get are from people that have insane poop stories from they were in grade school. It's what are they feeding these kids?
I know crap. I didn't have any like that. It wasn't until I got older and I was able to eat my free will. And I ate all bad
exactly.
shit.
When I was a kid, I had no problems at all. I think all of it started once I became an alcoholic. Then that's when the problem started.
All right, last question for this episode. Let's end on a hard one. Who would you rather leave your small Jewish boy with while you go to work for 8 hours? Adolf Hitler or Jeffrey Epstein?
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, Jesus, Palomino. So
you're going to work 9 to 5. You got to drop off your boy for daycare.
And I adopted a Jewish kid.
Yeah, small Jewish boy. You got to drop him off for daycare with Adolf Hitler or Jeffrey Epstein.
There's no way to win. There's no way to win. I don't know how to answer
I
that.
can't take him to work with me.
No, you got to drop him off. I'm probably going to...
Good Lord, this got dark. This is not going to make it on YouTube.
I'm going to pick Epstein because he only diddled teenage girls, not the boys. So if I adopted a Jewish boy, I don't think Epstein would fuck with him. He may try and traffic him, but that takes time. And then I would be able to catch on to that shit.
Yeah.
It's just one day, 9 to 5. You'll be able to get back in time.
Yeah, Hitler would dice him up and throw him in the air fryer.
Yeah. Oh, man, what a question. You have any comment on this one, Kurt?
My only comment is I ain't answering this. You're canceled either way.
There's there's no fucking win-win out of this at
There's
all.
no good answer.
No, you're fucked either way.
That's like going to the doctor and the doctor's like, good news, man. You don't have cancer anymore, but you do have AIDS now. You know, it's like there's no way to win.
It's that joke where the old man that hasn't been to the doctor in like 30 years, he goes to the doctor and he said, I haven't had a checkup in decades. I thought I'd get checked out. So the doctor gives him the physical and checks his blood and everything. And he says, I'll call you in a couple weeks with the results. So a couple weeks goes by and the doctor calls the old man, and the old man says, all right, doc, well, what's the deal? And the doctor says, well, I got bad news and worse news. The bad news is you have Alzheimer's, but the worst news is you've got cancer. And he says, well, at least I don't have cancer.
That's good. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in for the last episode of the Barcast. If we get canceled after that question, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. We're giving away a toaster at 10K. Jay, tell them where to find you or anything you want to shout out.
Just a YouTube channel. Just look up Jay Shuffleboson. I'm also on Twitch at Fake Alex Jones 1776 on Twitch. And you can also find me on Instagram. I'm not that hard to find. So, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for reaching out to me again. It's so much fun, again, as always.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. You're a legend. Thank you. All right, subscribe. Doo-doo.